4 weeks ago, I set myself the challenge of selling all my golf clubs off and then rebuilding the bag purely on second-hand golf clubs, with the exception of the PXG driver. Irons have arrived today, and what was the deciding factor for me purchasing this particular brand and model? It was just an outrageous deal. Note with this sale and the clubs that I've got, it was a gamble. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon here, bag or current setup in the background, box of my new irons on the ground, which we're gonna have a look at the moment. Outrageous deal, I think, I hope. Obviously I haven't seen them, but I think if they're anything that the pictures are going from, unbelievable deal. I'll show you the current bag for the guys that haven't been following this series. If you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's do it. Right, this is where we are at the moment. I've kind of made a video on all of the clubs that are in the bag. I mean, there's only 3. Putter's obviously staying because I got custom fitted for that for 4 years ago, and it's the best putter I've ever owned, so there's no point ever swapping it, no matter what comes out on the market. PXG driver's the only new club that's going in the bag, but for the deal that you could have got, I presume they might still be doing this deal at the moment, PXG, I'm not too sure, but the 0811X, when I made the video on probably about 6 weeks ago, you could basically choose the loft, choose the shaft, choose the head. I'm not too sure what their stock is like at the moment currently, but it's £250 for that driver, which as the going rate for second-hand drivers alone are normally anything, you're talking Ping G400, Taylormade M2, anything that's come out in the last 3 years is about 200 plus anyway, so I'm quite happy with the 250 at the top of the bag, and I haven't hit it because we went into lockdown pretty much after it arrived. This was £50, sorry. Again, made a video on this. I got 2 RSI UDIs. I had one of these back in the day, sold it stupidly, could never find one, and lo and behold, this turned up on Facebook Marketplace. So that is in the bag at the moment. So currently, obviously excluding the putter, we spent £300. In this box here, I spent another £250, including postage and including fees, which I'll get into in a minute. But that is the total we've spent so far, and realistically all I need is another wood at the top of the bag, some wedges at the bottom. We're pretty much there. So I saw these clubs listed on Facebook on the weekend, just under the name Titleist, which was intriguing. I went through the photos and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. AP2 718 C-taper 130 X-diff shafts in them, which is the exact same shafts that I was selling in my old set. Therefore, I know the shafts work for me. The head design is exactly the head design. I'm looking for a forged head. I don't want a blade because I just don't play and practice enough. I want some level of forgiveness, but at the same time, I want a bit of control. I want a nice, sleek looking club. And I saw these at £250 and I messaged the person straight away. Now, these are for my own personal bag, so I messaged him saying, if you box them up, I can get a courier to come and collect them, and I'll pay you now, PayPal, and I'll even cover fees my side. He accepted, and here they are. So let's open up the box. I'm very excited. It is almost a calling. So the set is actually made up, from the photos, the set is made up from 3 to pitch and wedge. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to keep the 3 iron. Maybe I'll decide that after I actually go and hit the clubs and find out my particular yardages with each of them. But the fact that I've got 3 to pitch and wedge, I'll show you some listings of what the 718 AP2 irons are currently selling on eBay. They range from £450 to £600 depending on how many clubs there are, for example. Typically a set is 5 to pitch and wedge, and in that set, grips look great by the way. Can't believe, and they have these like full corded grips on them. I think these are Z cord, if memory serves me right. But as I say, 5 to pitch and wedge normally sell for about £400, £450. Therefore, the fact I got the 4 and 3 iron for £250, as I said, this is an outrageous deal and it ticks all the boxes. I wasn't this year looking for a particular brand. I wasn't going, I definitely want Ping, I definitely want Callaway, I definitely want Titleist. I was just waiting patiently until I found something that was A, in my range with the shaft, B, had the head profile I like forged for example, relatively forgiving and gives you that level control. And then C, in decent condition. The condition, as I only really saw 3 or 4 photos, is yet to be assessed. Let's take the bubble wrap off. Is the top end of the bag, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and the faces have been used. Obviously they're pre-owned, but they're still in really good shape and I've got a lot of life left in them, and they're definitely in better condition than the ones that I had previously. So there's the 3, 4, 5 and 6. It's the bottom end of the bag that typically has a bit more wear. So the pitching wedge, for example, I mean, again, it's been used, but at the same time, for the price that I've got these for, first glances look really, really good. Right, let me have a better look and let's carry on with the video. Bag is shaping up rather nicely. The condition of these irons are really good, and the 718s, the last generation of the AP2, are fantastic looking clubs. Now, 716, 714, 712s, zero difference. Obviously, the older the irons, the less likely you're going to find them in good condition because they're older, they've probably been played with more. Therefore, that's the only difference I would say between the AP2s. And if you're a mid-handicapper looking to, or let's say just beginning the game, high handicapper, but looking to grind, get down to those teens or single figures, AP2s I highly recommend, as they kind of all merge into one in terms of the competition on eBay or Facebook, and you don't really see that much price difference between one brand to another. And I think that's why I've got these AP2s at such a good deal. And also why Titleist changed with their marketing to go to the T series to contend with the marketing giants such as Taylormade and Callaway, bringing out a different name, different look every year. My big issue is that we've got a lot of clubs in the bag. We've obviously got my driving iron, which is definitely staying, driver, putter. We need to get some wedges in the bag. We need to get another wood at the top end, whether that's going to be a 3 wood or a 5 wood. But this 3 iron, I just don't know when I'm going to use it. It's nice, it looks great, but it's still quite a small headed 3 iron. This is going to be my fairway finder, the 2 iron, where it goes 240, 250. My driver's obviously the big stick for the very wide, and I'm talking wide fairways. Maybe have a 5 wood in there, for example, or maybe a strong or weak, let's say 3 wood at the top end of the bag. Therefore, my 4 iron probably will go, and obviously I haven't hit any of these on the GC2. 4 iron I imagine will go 220 or 250, something like that. Nice controlled shot. 2 iron I imagine to go 230, 240. So there's a gap there, but let's be honest, how many times am I going to be in that situation where I have a 225 or 230 yard shot into a par 3 or maybe a long par 4 that I can't just maneuver with a 4 iron or a 2 iron? And I do get this question a lot. A lot of you guys, Simon, I've got like a 30-yard gap at the top end of the bag between my 3 wood and let's say a rescue, or let's say my 4 iron. And I say, okay, you can gap it, and we could put like a 7 wood in there, or we could put in a stronger lofted driving iron or hybrid. But let's be honest, how many times do you actually need that shot? Well, I want to be a tiny bit more controlled and a bit more precise is this bottom end. So I'm thinking realistically, when I gap that pitching wedge, or I look to get a wedge at the bottom end to gap between that pitching wedge and wedges, I'm probably going to go 50 degree, whatever it is, and then I'm going to go 54 and 58. So that's 3 wedges at the bottom there, plus leaves me another club at the top where obviously I can put a 3 wood or 5 wood there. Therefore, this 3 iron just doesn't scream much use to me, even though it's a lovely club. But then the beauty and the best bit about this is that £250 spent on the irons. I imagine I could probably sell that for £60 just on its own, therefore bringing the total cost of this iron set for under £200. Other things to note with this sale and the clubs that I've got: it was a gamble. There wasn't many photos. The Titan description wasn't great. I messaged the seller privately to find out the length and the lie angle, and I even paid up front businesses and services, which I potentially wouldn't recommend. I haven't had any hiccups to this point, but it just secures the purchase for me, knowing that it was going to be a very sought after listing on Facebook Marketplace, but it does have its downside. So I wouldn't advise it as such. Business services on PayPal covers you for a few things, i.e. like counterfeit or fake goods, or if it's nowhere near described what it was listed as. And again, this listing was very vague, but it was risky and it's paid off. You win some, you lose some. You've got secondhand clubs where you're going to have 100% guarantee, which is your golf bidder, which is your golf clubs for cash, which is me, which is, and then it just goes down in rankings. Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, Spock, Garage Sale. These are the ones, as you go down, the risk of potentially having damaged goods or not as described, but then the cost and the value that you can get these bargains at. Personally, I like the idea because, again, I've got a very decent looking bag and it makes a great video, but that doesn't necessarily always help you guys that are trying to just build your bag. Don't necessarily want to spend hours on Facebook or don't want to spend hours on Gumtree. But at the same time, I like showing you guys what can be achieved. I just want you guys to know the full risk or reward scenario of all these kind of purchases. And obviously the last thing I want is you guys to get into a situation where you spend a considerable amount of money, which is £250, and not necessarily get what you're after. These are 1/4 inch longer because I've measured them against the set that I have next door. Lie angle I can't check because I haven't got a loft and lie machine. I have to check that when I get to the range. But they're forged, which is good. And again, another bonus of buying a forged club, because these would have changed over the years of being here anyway. So I'll be able to bend them, loft them, lie them to what they need to be when I can finally be allowed out of this flat. So guys, there we have it. Wedges and a wood at the top end of the bag to finish out. I don't know which one's going to come next. It purely relies on what I can find and what deals I can see out there to finish off this bag. Very happy with where it is at the moment. Obviously, I haven't hit a single one of these clubs, and obviously the putter. I haven't hit a single one of these clubs yet. So that'll be a very interesting video when we obviously go and test them, potentially do some gap testing to see if I was anywhere near right or massively off. Do we tweak them? Do clubs come out? Do clubs go back in? Then we go on the golf course and go and test them where the game should be played. Guys, if you like this video, leave it a like. Subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys there.